coming in hot off the delivery truck. Today we'll be reviewing the Air Pegasus Zoom Turbo, and I'll be answering the question, is it worth it? What's poppin'? Jordan Thomas here with a review that I've been waiting on for more than a year. Just after the Air Pegasus 35 came out, a little birdie came and let me know that the Pegasus Turbo will be shortly following thereafter. So that combined with a little bit of early access, the Nike Plus app, and I had the shoes in hand on Friday afternoon. I'm really excited to give you guys my review on the shoe. So let's jump right into this. The Air Pegasus Turbo is just the latest addition to an already very long line of Air Pegasus shoes. How long, you might ask? This long. That's right, over 30 different variations of the Air Pegasus, and that's not even taking into account the ACG or the Shield lines or anything like that. So what makes this pair of Pegasus so special? Well, let's start with the overall design. First of all, it looks fast and it feels light on your feet. You've got this barely gray color that is what it's actually described as, with this hot punch. It's really pronounced in the overall like Dolby stripe that goes down the middle. So when you put these on, you just kind of feel fast. And as a matter of fact, the shoe looks so good. When you see a runner in them, it's kind of one of the things you just want to stop, let them run by so you can admire the shoes that are on their feet. You've got this seamless fly mesh upper that has the fly wire cables exposed, so that way you can see what's providing that overall snugger fit for you. You've got this overall just like aerodynamic, fast looking design. This beveled heel to minimize any like friction or anything like that from your Achilles heel coming up across it. The next thing you've got the ZoomX foam that's got everybody all hot and bothered. You'll hear things like 85% return. Listen, all it means is you're gonna run fast. When it comes to the overall sole, it's got this kind of hexagon pattern lugs as well as this rubberized bottom. It's gonna be pretty optimal for most surfaces. It's also about performance. Now, I've had the opportunity to run in these for 30 plus miles across a few different surfaces. So I'm gonna talk about some things that I loved and some things that I think could be done differently. So first off, what did I love? For all the surfaces that I run on, these shoes work really great. I'm coming from the asphalt or concrete, running on grass, and of course, the rubber on the track, these shoes perform well. And they did so across multiple types of workouts. Everything from my faster interval work all the way to a 10-mile run, these shoes perform well. Next thing, listen, the energy return thing is definitely real. These shoes are structured to run fast, so much so that in my easier runs, I had to find myself slowing down a bit. But listen, my heart rate wasn't going up any faster than it needed to be. I wasn't putting any additional energy into the run. It's just the overall structure really helps promote that toe to heel, heel to toe type of running mechanic, which helps produce a bit more of a midsole type running. Next, we have the no break-in necessary. Listen, in previous Pegasus, I've had to run them, say 20 plus miles or so for them to become comfortable on my feet. From day one, I just ran a few strides just to make sure that they were fitting the way that I anticipated. But the first training day that I took them out for a 4-mile run early in the morning, and then I ran another 5 or so miles as part of an interval session. The shoe performed well, the foam bounced back very nicely, and I didn't have any issue in terms of breaking them in. Now, let's talk about a few things that I'd like to see done differently. First off, let's start with the overall fly wire. Fly wire and me have always had a really kind of like love-hate relationship just because I can't feel like I get the shoe tight enough around the midsection of my foot. For me, I had to tie the laces very, very tight in order to get that. This shoe is no exception to that. I felt like the shoe, while it did provide a snug feel, I couldn't get a tight feel, which is a preference for myself. Next, the cutaway from the heel. Listen, I understand that in previous versions of the Pegasus and just some running shoes have issues with rubbing. I have not had any issues with any rubbing, and so for these, they feel too loose in the back for me. Now my foot never came out, but it felt like it just felt a little bit too loose for me. And so that combined with the fly wire made the shoe just feel somewhat like it was gonna come off. It never did. I eventually got used to it, but it did take a moment to get mentally broken in there. And then last, durability. When it comes to softer shoes, in my mind at least, I believe softer shoes are gonna break down faster, which means I'm not gonna get as much mileage. I can't prove that scientifically, and I'm sure one of you really great reviewers out there can do this, but I do have some concerns over the long term of this shoe. However, I'll need to run some more miles in order to figure that out. So, when it comes to price, Listen, $180 for some of us, that's gonna be a bit steep. But here's my logic. When it comes to the highest end Nike shoe available, you can talk about 250 bucks, right? That's like the ultimate racing shoe. And then once you come down from that, you've got like 150 for the Nike Zoom Fly. Listen, those are racing shoes. And so justifying those costs for those particular shoes can be a bit hard. I like to spend more money on my racing shoes. And so I can rationalize at least the Nike Zoom Flies. I don't run marathons, so I wouldn't probably buy the 4%. However, for $180, you're gonna get some of the technology that's available in the 4% in an everyday training shoe. So now you take that everyday training shoe and divide that $180 up. Now it starts to seem a bit more plausible, a bit more reasonable to spend that amount. Now, if you're new to running or something like that, then maybe this isn't the shoe that you spend. But for my intermediate, more advanced type runners, come on guys, sometimes you just gotta ball. And so that's why I'm loving these shoes. And so in terms of my overall recommendation, who do I think these shoes are for? I believe you're intermediate to advanced runner, someone who's putting in say 25, actually more like 30 plus miles per week on a pair of shoes. Someone who wants to have a bit more versatility in a single pair of shoes or just wants a high-end trainer, as well as the runner who can just appreciate some of the nuances that are set up with some of the technology improvements that are made for these shoes. For your beginner, more novice runner, I would not recommend these because you just might not be able to understand all the benefits of these. I would suggest starting off in one of the previous Pegasus so that way you have a bit more of a comparison. So overall, do I feel like the shoe is worth it? Absolutely. The shoe's officially released on August 2nd. Hopefully you found this helpful. Let me know in the comments what shoes you're training in and what you're training for right now. And I'll see you next time. Jordan Thomas, peace.